Dr. Pushpa. Dr. Pushpa, are you able to hear me?
Hello, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. I think she is still to join, sir.
Good afternoon, Dr. Ravi. Good afternoon, Dr. Ravi.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Dr. Pushpa will join soon. Good afternoon, sir. I think
Dr.
Dr.
Ravi.
Pushpa will be joining soon, sir.
Dr. Ravi, are you
Yes,
able to
sir.
hear me? Are you able to hear me?
Yes,
Hello,
sir. Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Ravi.
Very nicely, sir.
Okay.
I can hear you. Right, sir.
Yes. Are you able to see my video? Are
Yes,
you
sir.
able to see my
It's
video?
fine.
Okay.
Hello, good afternoon, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. I can see you, ma'am. I've just seen you. Yes. Great, ma'am. So we'll be starting, ma'am. Great.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. Our chief guest, Professor Surekha, ma'am, is with us.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, all of you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, all of you.
Good
Good afternoon, Dr. Ravi. Good afternoon, Dr. Surekha, madam.
afternoon, sir.
Our General Secretary, Professor Muthukumar, sir, is here.
Yes.
See, Professor Ram Bhatt, sir, is here. I can see Dr. Kalpana, ma'am, Professor and Head of Sri Ramchandra Medical College, ma'am, is here. I can see Dr. Virendra Kumar, AIIMS, sir, is here. Right. Slowly, people are joining. I think we will be starting at 4 o'clock as per the schedule.
Yes, sir. I'm waiting for that YouTube thing. Just a minute. I will be starting.
No problem.
Hello, Pushpa. Can you hear me?
Hi, yes, I can hear you.
It's clear, no? Voice is clear?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ತಡಿ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ.
तो कहीं पे ऐसे नहीं लगता पढ़ ले वो इसका वो क्लिप देना मैंने मार दूंगा ना
Good afternoon, one and all. I'm Dr. Pushpa NB, Assistant Professor, JSS Medical College, Assistant Editor, National Journal of Clinical Anatomy. First of all, I would like to thank you all. Participants, please mute yourself. Don't unmute. First of all, I would like to thank you all for showing such a wonderful response for the webinar organized by Society of Clinical Anatomists, SOCA, regarding celebration of World Anatomy Day and release of Issue 3, Volume 9, 2020 of National Journal of Clinical Anatomy. Anatomy, one of the basic sciences and cornerstone for medical education. Any child starts its education by learning first letter A or A. Similarly, a budding doctor initiates his or her journey by learning anatomy. It is no doubt that a sound knowledge of anatomy is essential for a skillful surgeon or an efficient physician. Over a period of time, unfortunately, it is being called as a non-clinical subject, and because of limited scope for further growth in the career, it raises a question whether anatomists are losing their glory. During such a crucial time, it is timely decision that our Society of Clinical Anatomists has decided to observe World Anatomy Day, so as to bring the anatomists under one platform and to raise voice about the challenges faced by the present day anatomists, and also to release Issue 3, Volume 9, 2020 of our proud National Journal of Clinical Anatomy. To begin with, I request Dr. N. Muthukumarave, Professor and HOD, Sri Venkateshwara Medical College, Pondicherry, Founder Editor-in-Chief of National Journal of Clinical Anatomy and General Secretary of Society of Clinical Anatomists to present welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Pushpa. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
My video is visible?
Yes, sir.
yes sir yes sir
Okay. Dear colleagues, good afternoon all of you. As General Secretary of Society of Clinical Anatomists, I am very happy to be part of this World Anatomy Day celebrations and also the releasing function of Volume 9, Issue 3 of National Journal of Clinical Anatomy. On behalf of Society of Clinical Anatomists, I am very happy to welcome the chief guest, respected Professor Dr. Surekha Kishore, ma'am, who is Honourable Member of National Medical Commission, also the Executive Director of AIIMS Gorakhpur. The Society of Clinical Anatomists is very grateful to ma'am for accepting our invitation and for being part of this World Anatomy Day celebrations, and also for releasing the Volume 9, Issue 3 of National Journal of Clinical Anatomy. Welcome, ma'am. I'm sure the National Medical Commission will take care of quality of medical education in our country. In my knowledge, this is for the first time any national society is organizing World Anatomy Day celebration in India. I wish grand success to the organizing team for this function. I welcome our respected President of Society of Clinical Anatomists, Dr. M. Shivakumar sir, who is also Professor and HOD of Anatomy at Jipper, Pondicherry. Dr. Shivakumar sir is a pillar of our society. We are very thankful to Dr. Shivakumar sir for understanding and supporting all our society activities. Welcome you, sir. I welcome our beloved Editor-in-Chief of National Journal of Clinical Anatomy, Dr. Kumar Satish Ravi, who is also Additional Professor of Anatomy in AIIMS Rishikesh. Dr. Kumar Satish Ravi is the reason behind this World Anatomy Day celebration. Our Society of Clinical Anatomists is appreciating the efforts of Dr. Kumar Satish Ravi in running our National Journal of Clinical Anatomy in ideal way, also for organizing different programs for Society of Clinical Anatomists. I welcome.
Sir, you should unmute Ravi sir.
Sorry for interruption.
Sorry.
I welcome our respected Joint Editor of National Journal of Clinical Anatomy, Dr. Vandana Mehta, ma'am, who is also the Director, Professor and HOD of Anatomy in VMMC, New Delhi. Ma'am is presenting a guest lecture today on how to review scientific article and editor's perspective.
Hello. Sir, I think you should have joined before. Now you take his message and read.
I wish her all the best.
World Anatomy Day.
I welcome other society office bearers, EC members and members of our society who are all participating World Anatomy Day celebrations. I welcome other joint editors, associate editors, assistant editors and editorial board members who are all participating in World Anatomy Day celebrations. I welcome all the dignitaries who are all attending this program. Welcome one and all. Thank you so much. Over to Dr. Pushpa.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for your welcome address. We'll be pausing for a minute. Sorry for this disturbance.
No problem. Hello.
Now I request Dr. Kumar Satish Ravi, Professor, AIIMS Rishikesh, Editor-in-Chief, National Journal of Clinical Anatomy, to share his journey with National Journal of Clinical Anatomy. Over to you, sir.
क्या हो गया कॉल हो गई है
Unmute.
Can you see my screen?
I, sir. It's visible.
Yes, yes.
like
So, Honourable Chief Guest, Professor Surekha Kishore ma'am, President of Society of Clinical Anatomists, Professor Shiv Kumar sir, General Secretary of SOCA, Professor Muthu Kumar Vel sir, Treasurer, Professor Kavi Mani sir, our Joint Editor, Professor Vandana madam, our respected and beloved members of editorial team of National Journal of Clinical Anatomy, all the esteemed members of Society of Clinical Anatomists, all respected seniors, colleagues and delegates who are participating in this program. And I would like to wish each and everyone a very happy World Anatomy Day. And I'm truly grateful to each one of you for being part of this journey on this auspicious occasion of World Anatomy Day. And apart from that, we will be releasing the third issue of National Journal of Clinical Anatomy. Before we release this third issue of National Journal of Clinical Anatomy, which will be released by our chief guest, Honorable Professor Surekha Kishore Madam, who is with us right now. I would like to give a brief summary, or you can say the journey of National Journal of Clinical Anatomy, what we have achieved till now. So before I start, at this moment, I remember a quote by Mr. Robin Sharma, that is, a change is hard at the beginning, messy in the middle, gorgeous at the end. Undoubtedly, when you say change is inevitable and change is a law of nature, you can say, or in other words, you can say the change is the only constant. So the journey which was initiated or started by our founder editor-in-chief, Professor N. Muthukumar sir, and then further it was succeeded by Dr. Ravi Chandran for bringing our journal, National Journal of Clinical Anatomy, to this level. I'm highly grateful to both of them for contributing so much in the bringing this journey to this level. Now, when we talk about this, after Dr. Ravi Chandran, the editor-in-chief, I was elected in the 9th annual conference of Society of Clinical Anatomists, which was organized by Professor Jitendra Patel, sir, at NHL Medical College, Ahmedabad. I feel blessed that I was unanimously elected as third editor-in-chief of NJCA. And for this, I thank each member of the society and office bearers of the society for electing me as editor-in-chief of NJCA. The beauty of that is that, that too, in absentia, I was unable to attend the conference as we had our convocation in which Honourable Home Minister Mr. Amit Shah was the chief guest at our convocation at AIIMS Rishikesh. So as soon as I took the charge of editor-in-chief, the major challenge was to get National Journal of Clinical Anatomists indexed so that we could receive a number of quality articles and our journal to the Anatomy Fraternity of India. And to meet this objective, the first step was to shape our editorial board. And while doing this, I took precaution that it must be decorated with the pioneers in the field of anatomy. So, because I feel the quality of the reviewers and the editorial board reflects the quality of the journal. So, my goal was to find well-qualified, dedicated academicians and researchers, not only from India, but from the world. My vision to have an editorial board that should be a blend of seniors who are highly experienced, as well as young, dynamic, and passionate anatomists. For this, I invited the clinical anatomists to join this network, not only from India, but from the abroad as well. And I was astonished to see the response from various academicians and researchers. Indeed, it was quite challenging for me as an editor-in-chief to select the doyens of anatomy from India and abroad. Finally, we had our new editorial board in place, and when you go through the editorial board members of this National Journal of Clinical Anatomy, you will find that most of the doyens of anatomy or the stalwarts of anatomy from India, you will find in the board of NJCA. Not only from India, you see even from the abroad like Shanita, and there are so many members who had shown their keen interest to join our team. As soon as the process started, I got so many requests from members of the Society of Clinical Anatomists, not only from the members of the Society of Clinical Anatomists, but from the various authors who wishes to publish their articles, their manuscripts in the National Journal of Clinical Anatomy. Regarding that, talk about a particular state. When we talk about the Tamil Nadu only, I can say that the number of anatomists in Tamil Nadu is huge, and it is approximately, you can say, more than 11,000 members are there from in the anatomy fraternity. So what I was receiving the request to reduce the publication charges, and for that, just to promote the research study and the high quality publication among young, talented, and the bright-minded clinical anatomists, that was my another mission. And I never wanted that the finance should be one of the constraint in publishing their articles or doing any kind of research work. So for that, we reduced the publication charges from 8,500 to 4,999. And very rarely you will find that any team reduces the subscription, or you say the publication charges. Otherwise, usually they increases the charges, but just to promote the research and the publication among the young talented academicians and the researchers, we did that on the request of so many authors and the, you can say, the members of the Society of Clinical Anatomists. Next was the subscription charges. In process of generating the funds for the National Journal of Clinical Anatomy, slightly we increases this subscription charges. That was a mere 1,250, you can say, just to generate the revenue, or you can say to sustain the National Journal of Clinical Anatomy. Then each subscription matters, right? And for that, we launched our subscription drive on 15th May 2020, you can say, and we are glad to inform you that in a very short period of time, we were able to add a noteworthy number of the subscribers, and you can see on the slide over here, at present, we have 126 individual subscribers and approximately 21 institutional or the agencies who have subscribed our journal. In order to facilitate, you can say there are so many institutions. Basically, you can talk about the institutes of national importance like AIIMS, PGI Chandigarh. In all those institutions, the faculty members or the academicians, they are provided their learning allowances, or you can say the academic allowances, right? So earlier, we were not able to provide the e-receipts. So keeping those things in our mind, we started giving e-receipts so that they can reimburse whatever the amount they have paid to our journal, whether it is in the form of the subscription charges or it is in the form of the publication charges. So we started issuing the e-receipts. Apart from that, as I said, that the greatest challenge what we had as soon as I took over the charge of editor-in-chief was to index, to get this journal indexed, because when I took over this journal, it was not even indexed in the copper, because we were unable to get the articles even to release January issue. But with the personal interaction and the content, we somehow were able to publish January issue, and at the same time we started. I would request members to please unmute. So in order to get the quality articles, the manuscript or the articles, our main agenda was to get the journal indexed so that the people can send a number of manuscripts for publication in our journal. And it was an incredible achievement from the team of National Journal of Clinical Anatomy that within the quickest possible time of 11 days, we got our journal indexed on 26 May 2020. That was unbelievable, and it was celebrated all around the country, right? We applied our journal for this indexing on 15th May 2020, and our journal got indexed on 26th May 2020. Now, as I said, that we wanted to issue the e-receipts, we wanted to have a track of all the transactions so that immediately we can issue the e-receipts, or we can handle all the transactions. We can get our accounts or audited by the chartered accountant. And for that, to facilitate all those things, to make all these transactions very easy and smooth, what we did, because our earlier account was located in Chennai, right, and there was a lot of communication gap. So to fulfill, or you can say to fill that communication gap, we, with the approval of the and support of the office bearers of the Society of Clinical Anatomists, we started our new bank account at Rishikesh, and that made our journey, or you say the things, quite easy and the comfortable. Now, as soon as our journal got indexed, right, we were recognized. I'm very much grateful to the International Medical Sciences Academy, IMSA, for acknowledging in its official publication, Journal of International Medical Sciences Academy, IMSA, and that gives our journal, NJCA, international visibility and the prestige. Apart from that, even by Dr. Gulgan Sen Gul, who is the chairperson of the international, the Federative International Committee of Scientific Publications Committee of IFA, we're having the 19 members. They invited as an editor-in-chief of National Journal of Clinical Anatomy to join the IFA and the committee that is called as FICSP. And that also added to our journal, you can say, the international visibility and prestige to the NJCA. Now, as most of the members of the society and the authors, they know that our first issue of National Journal of Clinical Anatomy was took almost 7 months, that is in the month of July, got printed, right? And because we were aiming to get our journal indexed in Scopus and the PubMed, right? And for that, the timely publication is of the utmost criteria, you can say. So to publish each and every issue of National Journal of Clinical Anatomy on time, we ensured that our journal should be printed and published on time. We changed our publisher, and now you can see the difference that we changed our publisher in the end of July, you can say, and within a short period of time, you can say 2.5 months, we released the next 2 issue. The 3rd issue will be released today by the Honourable Chief Guest of World Anatomy Day, that is our Honourable Professor Surekha ma'am. So initially when we take decision, definitely there will be some issues, there will be some problem, there will be some hesitations that the next decision what we are going to take, whether it will be favorable or not. But sometimes you have to take decisions, right? 100 decisions you will take, there may be chances that there will be 10 or 20 decisions will be wrong, will be not favorable. But keeping just failure of 20% decisions, if you don't take decision, right? So you will never get the output. So what I want to say over here, please mute yourself, madam, please mute yourself. So what I wanted to say, that when your planning is appropriate, your execution is appropriate, definitely the outcome will be much better, right? And today, very proudly, we can say that because of the efforts of the team members of National Journal of Clinical Anatomy and the incredible support of the office bearer of Society of Clinical Anatomists, not only the office bearers, even the incredible support from the members of the Society of Clinical Anatomists, we could give this result. And now we are publishing each and every issue on time. And I'll ensure that even in future, all the issue will be on time. Now you can see
that deserves an applause.
Journal of Clinical Anatomy. You can see the new website of National Journal of Clinical Anatomy, and the users online also has increased substantially. Now, earlier, even we were struggling to get 7 articles for one issue. Now, very happily in each and every issue, we are able to publish minimum 10 articles. The numbers, we have plenty of articles, but immediately because on 26th May only, we got our journal indexed. So we don't want to increase the number of articles immediately. Otherwise, as I told in the previous, you can say the session, we are always under the scrutiny of the indexing agency. So slowly and gradually, we will increase the number of articles which will be published in the National Journal of Clinical Anatomy. So as you can see, in the first issue, we published the 7 articles. Now in the second issue, we have published the 10 articles. Similarly, today, which will be released, again, we have published the 10 articles. So next year, we will be further increasing the number of articles. Apart from that, I thought it was not only my decision, but I will say that the young anatomists, the young members of the National Journal of Clinical Anatomy, the assistant editors, you can say, they come up with this idea of conducting a national webinar on how to prepare a scientific manuscript and how to publish. Mentioned in the previous session that the articles, the quality of articles which we were receiving was not up to the mark, not even in the format of Emerald. And because of keeping those things in our mind, we organized a webinar on how to prepare and publish a scientific manuscript in an indexed journal, right? And that webinar was appreciated by one and all, and we received the positive feedbacks, right? And it was unbelievable that even when the webinar is free of, means when there is no registration charges, also a number of participants are limited. But even when we put the charges, registration fee 250, you can see over here, because it was not supported by the institution, we had to hire the platform, and because of that only we put the registration charges. And in spite of that, we had even when we closed the registration, we were getting the number of requests to open the registration time and again. But because of the limited number of participants in this platform, we couldn't do that. But you can see there were 220 participants who registered. So this way, we generated the fund for the National Journal of Clinical Anatomy as well. And I would like to add over here that this was one of its kind, that any journal was conducting any kind of academic event. And after successfully conducting this webinar, right, the previous webinar, we got so many requests to conduct another webinar or the academic event. And because of that only, you can see the mind of our president, Honorable Professor Shiv Kumar sir, to conduct the World Anatomy Day, right? And with the support of the General Secretary, immediately as the office bearers of the society, the team of NJCA, similarly keeping those trained, we also yes to the society, the office bearer of SOCA, and he took the responsibility to celebrate, to organize this event of World Anatomy Day. Now you can see today what we dreamed 1 week back with the means. I don't have words for our chief guest, Honorable Professor Surekha Kishore, who just in one message gave her consent for this academic event and the celebration of this World Anatomy Day. So that shows how humble, how down to earth Madam is for any academic event. Madam is always yes. And I will be adding few things related to that in my further deliberations, you can say. So soon we will see the third issue, which will be released by our chief guest, Professor Surekha Kishore ma'am. So here it's not an end. We have some future goals as well, like to increase the number of subscription, and very soon after publishing a complete 9-volume, you can say. We will be applying for the further indexing agencies like Scopus and the PubMed, and our priority will be that to make it a high quality referred scholarly journal of clinical anatomy. So to conclude, I would like to say we have miles to go together, and for this we need support of all the editorial board members, the reviewers, the authors, the subscribers, and of course our beloved members of the Society of Clinical Anatomists. So at the end, I would like to wish each and every anatomist a very happy World Anatomy Day. And I would like to, I'm very thankful and grateful to each member of the team of National Journal of Clinical Anatomy who is executing each and everything and who is making our vision into a reality. Thank you so much, everyone, for participating and being part of this celebration of World Anatomy Day. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your journey with us. Now I would request Dr. Kumar Satish Ravi, sir, to introduce the chief guest of today's celebration to all of us.
So I'm honored and blessed to introduce to you all who doesn't need any introduction. That is our Professor Surekha Kishore ma'am is an honorable member of National Medical Commission of India, and apart from that, presently ma'am is heading one of the institution of national importance, that is All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Gorakhpur. Prior to that, ma'am was Dean Academics at All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Rishikesh. And apart from that, madam was heading the Department of Community and Family Medicine at AIIMS Rishikesh. If I say that AIIMS Rishikesh had seen its golden days during the tenure of Honourable Professor Surekha Kishore ma'am when she was Dean Academics of AIIMS Rishikesh, then I will not be exaggerating. Why I can say that? Because 95% of academic courses at AIIMS Rishikesh was started, initiated, and successfully run under the leadership of our previous Dean Academics, Professor Surekha Kishore ma'am. Not only that, you will be surprised to know not only in India, even in the world, some of the new courses was started under the leadership of Professor Surekha Kishore ma'am. Like I can say this MCH, pediatric orthopedics, joint replacement, and many more. The numbers I cannot enumerate one by one, but only thing I can say that under the leadership of Professor Surekha Kishore ma'am, as I said, that AIIMS Rishikesh has seen its golden days. And I'm blessed and fortunate to work under the leadership of Professor Surekha Kishore ma'am, who always promotes our team members and gives ample chance to grow. That is what is lacking among we seniors, you can say. When we achieve the post, right, to a level, we don't promote our juniors, right? But contrary to that, I've always seen that madam always promotes her juniors and subordinates and team members, you can say. Ma'am was involved, you can say, in teaching, training, and research activities at AIIMS, along with developing innovative approaches in medical education, you can say. Apart from that, not only in academics, ma'am was the first Dean of Social Outreach at AIIMS Rishikesh and contributed a lot in the improving the health condition of the poor and the needy people in the hilly areas of Uttarakhand. She received her Doctor of medicine, you can say, that is MD community medicine, and MBBS degree from one of the most prestigious institute of India, you can say the NJCA Wardha, right? Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Medical Sciences, Wardha, right, which is located in Maharashtra. I don't need to explain that. And she has trained under, she has been trained under the guidance of the well-known personality, Madam Sushila Nair, who was closely associated with the father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi. She had more than 29 years of experience in teaching and training of medical, paramedical, and non-teaching staff, as well as field functionaries related to health. All her work had been mainly, you can say, the community-based, especially related to reproductive and child health and adolescent health. She has participated in more than 10 international and around 92 national and, you can say, the extramural or the intramural projects. She has organized national conference, training programs, and workshops at national, state, and you can say the district level, and attended and taken sessions in more than 120 conferences, workshops, and seminars. She has received many national awards and published more than 110 papers in various international and national journals. At present, ma'am is on the mission to develop AIIMS, you can say All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Gorakhpur, a world-class medical institution where the rest of the poor can get the world-class education and, of course, the treatment. I'm highly grateful to the humblest, down-to-earth, our beloved Honourable Professor Surekha Kishore ma'am, who just on, as I said, on one message gave her consent to be our chief guest on the World Anatomy Day. Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm truly grateful to you. Now, may I request you to please release the third issue of National Journal of Clinical Anatomy and give your words of blessings to all the anatomists of the country. Madam.
Sure. Sure, Dr. Sir. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Congratulations to the whole team.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for releasing that issue.
Now I would like to invite ma'am for the words of blessings.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
First of all, I would like to wish a very good, warm welcome to everyone for this World Anatomy Day. All my blessings and my best wishes for this, and congratulations to the whole team for this grand celebration on the occasion of release of this journal as well as on this day. Dear President Dr. Shiva Kumar, General Secretary Dr. Muthu Kumaravel, Editor-in-Chief Dr. Ravi, and Treasurer Dr. Kavimani, other office bearers and members of the Society of Clinical Anatomists, SOCA, the editorial team of National Journal of Clinical Anatomy, and all the dignitaries, whosoever is participating in this program. A very good afternoon to all of you. It is indeed my pleasure to be a part of this World Anatomy Day celebration organized by SOCA and National Journal of Clinical Anatomy. As all of us are aware that we celebrate October 15th of every year as World Anatomy Day in the memory of founder of the modern human anatomy, Andreas Vesalius from Europe. On this historical day, let us remember all the stalwarts who played their roles in the growth of our subject, human anatomy, which is the backbone of whole medical sciences. On this day, let us feel proud that we have great anatomists. We are very good anatomists who teach the medical students the whole structure of human body so that they become skilled doctors to serve the community with confidence. I still remember my good old days when I was learning anatomy, and we distinctly remember out of all the three subjects, we were very fond of anatomy. We had very good teachers, and we still remember their teaching, and we learned a lot. And as we know, this is the basic science which is very important, and it is a foundation course and the foundation which builds up the foundation of the student. This is a time for change. Following the implementation of competency-based medical education curriculum and the new education policy by the government, now the NMC, like you know, National Medical Commission has taken over the responsibility from 25th of September 2020 onwards. And I am honored to be a member of the NMC to serve our fraternity in all possible ways. As you know, that NMC is going to give utmost importance for maintaining the quality of medical education in the country. And the quality of medical education depends on the quality of manpower. Without appropriately qualified manpower and teachers in adequate strength, the money and material cannot be properly utilized to maintain the quality of education. So together, let us work and achieve the goals fixed by our National Medical Commission. I'm sure that National Medical Commission will take suitable steps to maintain appropriate faculty strength as per the rules, as per the workload of the subject, and as per the requirement. We will try our best to tackle the concerns like proper education, qualification, and experience for teaching posts so that job opportunities also get open up for the really deserving candidates. I take this opportunity to invite all the talented people, all the dignitaries, all the participants in this seminar and the session to come forward to make all the needed changes as per the recommendations of National Medical Commission. With immense pleasure, I release the third issue of this National Journal of Clinical Anatomy for this year 2020, Volume 9 and Issue 3. I convey my heartfelt appreciation to Editor-in-Chief Dr. Kumar Satish Ravi and his editorial board members for their untiring efforts in spreading the knowledge and getting NJCA indexed under DOAJ in the quickest possible time of 11 days. And I think it was only possible with you, Ravi, as the editor-in-chief, because I have worked and he has worked with me, and we were a great team. And yes, a big round of applause for Dr. Ravi. He has been instrumental in getting a lot of initiative. And you know, I'm sure and I wish that your journal will be going to be taken to heights. He is a kind of person, you just give him the word and you see the miracles happening. That is what he'll do with the journal as well as with the society. So I congratulate the whole team and Dr. Ravi for your this untiring effort. And I convey my thanks. I convey my sincere thanks to the Society of Clinical Anatomists and its president, Dr. Shiva Kumar, and General Secretary, Dr. Muthu Kumaravel, for providing me this platform, as well as providing all of us the platform to organize this virtual World Anatomy Day celebration for the first time on the national level in India. And I wish the society and all its members all the best in all their future endeavors. Thanks a lot. Thanks, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your words of blessing. And you will be always remembered in the Society of Clinical Anatomists, as we were the first to organize World Anatomy Day in India, and you are our first chief guest as honorable member of the Commission. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Being with us and for blessing. Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Pushpa.
Thank you so much, respected ma'am, and thank you so much, sir, for introducing our chief guest. Now I would request Dr. M. Shivakumar, Professor, JIPMER, Pondicherry, President of SOCA, to deliberate the importance of World Anatomy Day to us. Over to you, sir.
Hello, sir.
You need to unmute,
Hello.
sir. Yes.
Hello, sir. Not audible, sir.
1 minute.
Mm.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Now audible,
Okay.
sir. Now audible, sir.
Okay. A very good afternoon to all of you. I joined Dr. Muthakumarvel, General Secretary of SOCA, to extend a warm welcome to our chief guest, Professor Dr. Surekha Kishore, Honourable Member of National Medical Commission, India, and Executive Director of AIIMS, Gorakhpur. Guest speaker, Dr. Vandana Mehta, Joint Editor of NJCA, and all the participants to this webinar on World Anatomy Day celebration. 15th of October marks the anniversary of the death of Andreas Vesalius in 1564, who is considered to be the founder of modern human anatomy. The observations made by him overturned misconceptions in anatomy that had prevailed for centuries. This day, which is celebrated as World Anatomy Day, provides anatomists with an opportunity to celebrate anatomical advances as well as convey the need for more research and development in the field. Andreas Vesalius was German in origin and Belgian by birth. He was born in 1514 into a family of physicians. He was a student of Gunther and Sylvius. He was a professor of anatomy at Padua in Italy. He is considered as the founder of modern human anatomy because he taught that anatomy could be learnt only through dissection. He opposed and corrected the erroneous concepts of Galen and fought against his authority, thus reviving anatomy after a deadlock of about 15 centuries. In 1543, at the age of 29, he published his most important work, De Humani Corporis Fabrica Libri Septem, which was written in 7 volumes. This is generally known as Fabrica, which revolutionized the teaching of anatomy and remained as authoritative text for 2 centuries. The Fabrica is famous for its illustrations. They were created by Calcar, and in 1555, the second edition was issued. This edition featured some corrections and an improved section of embryology. So today we have to recall the great contribution made by Andreas Vesalius. We pay our homage to him and we concentrate on more and more growth and development of anatomy in future. I congratulate Dr. Kumar Satish Ravi, Editor-in-Chief of NJCA, and his team for his untiring great efforts for making excellent arrangements to celebrate this day in a grand manner. And I once again very profoundly thank Dr. Surekha Kishore Madam and Dr. Vandana Madam for gracing this occasion, for accepting our invitation in a very short notice. And we are very much honored by your presence and this issue and bringing out this issue. Thank you so much, Madam. Thank you all the participants, and thank the organizers for giving me an opportunity to talk on this very important day. And today is the birthday of our previous president also. We have to recall. So this is in addition. It's a very memorable day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for briefing to us about World Anatomy Day. Before proceeding to guest lecture, here we have many senior anatomists. If anybody is interested to express their view, the forum is welcome to, it's open for you. You can express your views. You can unmute and please speak.
Dr. Rajasekhar sir. Dr. Rajasekhar sir, please unmute.
It's so even not audible.
Hello sir.
Any other faculty wishes to express their views can speak.
Other faculty members or the regional board members would like to say anything, would like to express their views, are most welcome.
So if not, we'll be proceeding for the guest lecture. So now
Yes.
I would request Dr. Mohana Priya, Assistant Professor, MMC Chennai, Assistant Editor, National Journal of Clinical Anatomy, to introduce today's guest speaker, Dr. Vandana Mehta ma'am. Over to you, Mohana.
I'm audible?
Yes.
I welcome and introduce today's speaker, Dr. Vandana Mehta ma'am, Director, Professor and Head, Department of Anatomy, Vardhman Mahavir Medical College and Safdar Hospital. Ma'am,
നേരത്തെ ഗുളിക കഴിക്കുന്നുണ്ടായിരുന്നോ? ഇതെല്ലാം സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്തല്ലേ?
Request all the members to please mute yourself. I would humbly request all the members to please mute yourself. So,
hello.
Please continue, Mohana.
Anatomy from Maulana Azad Medical College, New Delhi. She joined Vardhman Mahavir Medical College since its inception in December 2001 as assistant professor. Ma'am has conducted several cadaveric workshops on spine surgery and arthroscopy. She has done immense contribution to various activities such as center officer validation workshop for National Board of Examination. Ma'am was invited for several guest lectures in various medical colleges. Ma'am have authored more than 10 national publications for her credit. Ma'am was an editorial board member in International Journal and as a joint editor of National Journal of Clinical Anatomy. I welcome ma'am to deliver a guest lecture on today's topic, reviewing a scientific manuscript and editor's perspective. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Mohana Priya.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good afternoon to everybody present here. I see respected elders, Dr. Surekha Kishore, Dr. Muthu Kumar Veln, Dr. Siva Kumara, and the editor-in-chief, Dr. Kumar Satish Ravi. I am really thankful for giving me this opportunity to present this guest lecture. And I'll share my screen, please. Is the screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, basically the lecture's topic which was given to me was reviewing a scientific manuscript and editor's perspective. So basically I just got down to wonder that once you've, can you please mute your microphones? Now basically when we reach a certain professional accomplishment in the form of we've published a few papers, we suddenly see that there are a lot of requests which come to us from the international and national forum to review papers. So initially, when I used to get about 10 years back to review papers, I was too excited, and without reading any, guidelines, I simply used to just accept because I was so euphoric that people have sent me articles to review. So there was too much of euphoria involved. But then gradually, as the load increased from especially from international journals, then I started to a serious business on I should follow some guidelines, some aims and objectives. So my presentation is all about that. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So moving on to what is a review, if we see the individual words, so I see that it's a very responsible job. It also involves a lot of empathy because we should have that kind of an attitude when we are reading somebody else's manuscript. You know, we have a human tendency that I find only faults in others. I don't see any faults in myself, you know. So empathetic attitude is extremely important. Then I should be vigilant at the same time. I should be very, very vigilant as to especially plagiarism. I stands for informative. I should also have information what is going around in the world in the same field. I should also have a detection eye, you know, an error detection eye for seeing a manuscript. And finally, it should be worthwhile. My review should be extremely worthwhile when I'm doing the proper reloading of the manuscript. Now, why should I review? A question may come to the young scientists, especially. We have a lot of youngsters in the group. That why should one review? Why should I waste my time? Why should I, you know, because as it is, we are too much overburdened with online teaching. So why should I even bother to review? So, you know, three things come to my mind is that number one, I get to read the papers before they are published. So that's extremely important. I am up to date. Okay. Then this review will help me broaden my scope. Naturally, when I see research happening in other fields, in other colleges, in other institutions, it helps me to broaden my scope. And finally, I think it's a public service, obviously, because when you are going to review an article, accept it or reject it, you're actually doing public service because you're adding to the important, vital research literature all across the globe. So these are the reasons which came to my mind when I thought, why should I review? So what are the aims of a review? Now, the aims of a review are basically, you are not going to go into the finding mistakes initially. You are basically helping them to improve. So basically, you're going to provide them with a constructive feedback, and you're a specialist in your field. So you help them improve their work. And basically, in this process, you're not only going to ensure a highest possible standard, you're also going to add to public service, as I already told you. Now, there's a very common quote that before you start anything, learn how to finish it. So I must know that I'm starting to review. What are the guidelines? What are the steps I'm going to see when I have to review it? So number one thing which came into my mind was I should know that particular journal, what are the instructions it gives to its authors. So I should be well versed with that. Next, which should come to my mind is, am I really an expert or a specialist in that field for which they are asking me to? For example, so many offers come from anesthesia journals, orthopedics journals. So am I really an expert in those fields? Do I have any conflict of interest? Do I know any author or, you know, maybe the institution? So these are all points which should be noted when I am actually beginning. Now, this is just a graph I made basically at transition, that what are the steps? So the number one step is that I can you see the arrow, please? Can you see my,
yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
So number one step is that I should give a first reading in the form of a preliminary study. So that's basically going to take not even half an hour. I'm also going to tell you how much time the total review is going to take. So this will just take half an hour. Just give it a reading. Just give it a reading and just try to detect mistakes, you know, just spot some flaws and conclude. that what after the first reading is your overall impression? Are you in mind and tune of rejecting it? Or are you going to accept it throughout because you really like it? You like the material and methods, you like the results, you like the figures and the tables. So this is just a first read or a preliminary study, what I call it. Now in this preliminary study, as you can see, this person is reading, he's only going to take half an hour to do that. I'm going to read the manuscript, form an initial impression, get a sense, and make notes. Making notes is very, very important. Whether I type them, whether I make them in a hard copy, that's your, and number the pages so that you can refer to them later on. So somebody's microphone is still on. And then last of all, I figure out what the full manuscript is all about, as I told you. Then as you go into the details, that's a further step. This is the preliminary step in which 3 things I think should be focused upon. That's the abstract, because abstract tells you everything. It stands alone, it's informative, it covers the content. Introduction states your objective, problem, the review of literature, the clinical and importance of your topic, and finally the take-home message in the form of conclusions. So these are all preliminary studies. These are all first reads in which I will concentrate upon the abstract, the introduction, and the conclusions. Now the question comes to my mind, a few vital questions will come to my mind, that have the authors identified the questions and their claims which they have claimed in their study in the introduction section? Have they discussed related research and explained how the study will fit into that context? And finally, one very important question, that is the report actually giving you some new information, or is it just a repetition of already done studies? Okay, so there should be something novel, something new in this report that you have been asked to review. So these are the few vital questions. Moving on. Now this person is thinking that what are the major questions which need to be addressed to. Again, this is just a preliminary study. These are only I am discussing with you. How original is the topic? Is it relevant and interesting? The main questions. Is the paper well written? And are the conclusions consistent with the evidences? So these are all the questions which should come into your mind when you are giving it a first read. And keep a paper and pen ready always so that you can have and address these questions later on when you are doing a detailed review. Now you have formed an initial impression. Either you reject it. Why do you reject on your first reading? The reason could be you have spotted certain major mistakes and flaws in it. For example, there is a person who has drawn a conclusion which is contradicted by the author's own statistical and qualitative evidences. So this can be one of the major reasons for which you see that why I should reject it at the first read. Before starting the detailed second reading, I decide whether the article is really requiring, is it publishable? Does it really is in the category of publishable news? Or then I give it a meticulous review. That is, I read a second view detail. And in this, I am going to inspect the minutest details and give a very, very deep inspection to the study. What are the points which on the second reading I'm going to concentrate upon? I'm going to concentrate upon the material and methods now that I'm giving a detailed review, a second on the results, very, very important, and the discussion and the references. Now, material and methods, please keep in mind, academic research, there are 3 R's for it. It should be replicable, it should be repeatable, it should be robust. So it should have those qualities in which you can repeat it, you can replicate it, and it should be strong, robust. Okay. In the results, I should concentrate especially on the figures and the tables. Can the figures explain the results? Are they congruent with what has been mentioned in the text? Tables, are the inputs all necessary to, there are few authors who just give unnecessary tables. So are they actually very concise, and are they explaining what the authors have tried to explain in the results section? And finally, in the discussion and the references, is most important because discussion actually tells you what the previous literature has done and what now you have done in this study. So making it an entirely scientific research paper. So discussion tells you all this. And in the references, I'm going to come to that later on, how important references are. So coming to a little detail about methods and study design. So what has been done in the study should be my first question when I'm reading the detail of the method and the study design. And does it follow relevant reporting guidelines? And most important of all, does it meet ethical standards? So these are few questions which should be noted when I'm going to read the methods and the study design in detail. Now the figures. The next question when you're doing the results comes to you is the figures. So figures, tables, results, are they lining up with what's been shown? Are they accurate? And is there a match between the text and the figures and the tables? So this matching is extremely important, which as a reviewer, I should match and check that when I am seeing the figures, tables, and the results section. Now, a very, very important aspect is the references. Now, references need to be accurate, need to be adequate, and need to have a balance. By meaning balance, I mean that there should be a balance of old, new, recent literature. They should not all be old. They should not all be new. There should be a balance between the reference articles. So the 3 R's again in the references is they should be relevant, they should be recent, and readily retrievable. So when I have to check a particular reference, I should... Can you please switch off your microphone? Somebody has a microphone on, please. It's creating a lot of noise. So the last R of the references, it should be readily retrievable. Coming now to the final, that's the conclusion. So are the conclusions, supporting the data and the result is a question, and I'm going to check. Conclusion should be a very, very short and concise, and it should be supporting the final summary of the data as well as the results in the article. It should also at the same time reflect upon the aims. So has the study been able to achieve those aims or not? So a very small, concise, few sentences paragraph on conclusions is what the authors should concentrate upon as a last step. Now, after all these things, I make a short review with a, either I type it or on the pen and paper, I keep it ready. Now, this is the final thing which I will now think about starting to format it in order to submit it. So now I have to concentrate upon whether the journal requires me to have a structured question in which I have to answer in order to submit my review. Okay. Some journals also ask you, do you recommend major or minor revision or rejection and acceptance? So I will be in a position now because the first step, which was the first read through, takes only half an hour. The detailed will maximum take. So I am ready now. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes.
a message came actually that I've been.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, there's a message which came. I've been muted. Sorry. Okay. So also whether you need to recommend decision. So now when the journal is asking you a major thing like recommending decision, I think we really need to think how responsible this job is in order to recommend a major and minor decision, revision, or recommend rejection or acceptance. So I keep an outline ready. I keep my comments organized, easy to read, very lucid, very simple, no complex language, but I should know what I have to submit at the end of the review. So this inverted triangle basically shows what my review report is going to look like. On the top, as you can see, is a vital communication, which is very, very vital. It tells you the summary of the research. I am going to present that and my overall impression. In the evidence and the example section, I'm going to divide this section into major and minor issues, which I found in the article, and what the authors, I will also suggest what the authors need to do in order to improve their study. Then there are some additional information. For example, some confidential comments you would like to give to the editor, like there is any conflict of interest or some issue about ethics. So this is the inverted triangle, how my key review report should look like. On the top, vital communication, evidence and examples, and then the additional details. Now, what are these major issues I just talked about? These are issues that really need to be addressed to before considering the manuscript further on. Is there number one I give to plagiarism? Now, plagiarism, as we all know, it's an offense. It's serious. It is a serious offense. So, number one, I need to see whether actually the authors have, used plagiarism in their study. Are they presenting certain findings that defies current thinking? Is the result strong enough to prove their claim? So these are all issues, which I should think when I'm considering to make a major decision. Okay. Have they quoted all the relevant work that opposes the idea and discussed it adequately? Is the presentation lucid? There should be no complex presentation, because we should remember that most of the journals, also the authors, are from non-English speaking nations. So it doesn't necessarily have to be very complicated English when I am going to write an article. Are the figures, tables, language, and manuscript structure simple so that I can evaluate the work and any ethical issues? These are all major issues which will come into my mind when I am going to recommend a decision on the manuscript. Now, there are certain minor issues. For example, very small, like maybe some errors like adding more references or giving some more content in the introduction section, discussion section. These are minor issues. So I can always recommend a minor revision to the authors or the editor. So what is fundamental for the current study should be my first concern when I am actually making a synopsis of the entire. So this is my goal, this is my target, and what is the fundamental for the current study. So supposing I am doing a study on coronary artery variations, what is that study got to do? What is fundamental for that current study should be my first concentrate point. Okay. Now, it's not really worthwhile or desirable that I comment on some additional work. I should concentrate on what has been done in the study. So maybe the future plan of the authors is to do something extra. For example, if the study is on coronary artery and I give them suggestion that no, you should do on coronary sinus also. I am not in a position to do that. Okay. So I should concentrate what is fundamental for the current study and what the authors have done is my prime aim. That's it. So what is my target? It's to help the authors improve the manuscript and contribute to the treasure of research literature. So be very specific about what they need to do. This is my goal. This is my target. And that's it about reviewing a manuscript. Now, this is just an example, a template to show you how the review report should look like. The summary, major issues, minor issues if there are, and any comments either to the author or to the editor if you wish to give some confidential comments upon. Now, a separate slide, it was very important to make on plagiarism, because as we know, there are various types of plagiarisms. Now, for the young authors, you already know there's a self-plagiarism where you're repeating your own words and your own citations again and again. Direct is when you've directly copied verbatim. Okay. Accidental is, of course, it's pardonable because you have done it accidentally. You didn't mean to, but you've done it by mistake. And mosaic is when you have tried to alter the language, but you have done it deliberately without citation. So you have created, separate mosaics from different authors, and you have tried to create a mosaic and you have not even cited them or quoted them even once. So these are the several types of plagiarisms I found out. Now, the most important point to note in this is that most editors have access to software which can check plagiarism. So sometimes the reviewer can, he may have some suspicion, or he is definite that, there is some plagiarism involved. In any case, he can notify to the author, to the editor, that, I am actually suspecting some sort of plagiarism. So kindly please note and you check. Okay. So what is search engine optimization? A very, very important term this is in reviewing, when you are reviewing an article, is that when a person puts in certain keywords or title, immediately he should get your paper. What is that catch point? What is that key point? Is that the title should be extremely good and well representative of your work. The abstract should be absolutely pinpointing what you have done in your paper. So the abstract is actually a representation of your entire work. It's very, very important. And the keywords, obviously. When I put in the keywords, coronary artery variations, immediately there should be a paper which will show my name in it. So a checklist now, final checklist. I'm going to submit my review report. What is the checklist? I first see the title. Is it appropriate, informative? I can always give suggestions to the authors to change it. The study questions, are they appropriate? Are there any experiments which are missing, which you feel? You can always clarify from the authors. Methods, is there detailing done? Statistics, very, very important part of the study is because statistics, actually there are many questions relating to that. So is it sound? Results and data, does it actually support your conclusions? And is it accessible? It's very, very important. It should all be very, very accessible. Otherwise, there is no point in adding to this anatomical archives, I'll talk about anatomy only. And figures and tables clearly presented, correctly labeled, as I've already stated. And references, most important, there should be no wrong formatting, there should be no reference missed. Supposing there's a reference which has been quoted in the text and not being mentioned in the reference list, we should note that too. A few tips is, we can number our comments as they are easy to read for the authors and the editor. A detailed explanation always is desirable with regards to the method and the study design, with the limitations of the study and with the prior results. So reviewers have to concentrate on these 3 points when they are actually writing the review. And always good to number your points and to note the page numbers. It will be very easy, for any person who is going to go back to your review report, if you've numbered your pages and you've actually written it very systematically. Avoid. Now, what are certain things which I need to avoid is, we tend to concentrate a lot upon English language. As I already told you, I read in the net that, most of the authors may not be English speaking nations. So let us not concentrate more on typographical and, grammatical issues. Okay. It should be lucid. It should be simple. And that's all. Now, because you have been appointed as a reviewer on the basis of your subject expertise. You're not a copy editor. Okay. So please be wary of this and very, important point to be noted. And last of all, don't be rude in your comments. You may find an absolutely worthless paper, but you have no right to, even as a human being, to write comments such as it's a worthless study, it's a complete waste of time. Rejected. Okay. Instead, I would suggest you could be very easy, you could be very soft in your speech, and you could just say that it's an interesting topic, but the study has certain methodological flaws and maybe requires some revision. Or it doesn't meet, or it's beyond the scope of the journal guideline. These are very polite ways of addressing someone, rather than completely saying that your author, your work is absolutely bakwas and it doesn't have even an iota of research. Okay. Now it's the time to submit your review. So as John Wittstow commonly said, very popularly, this is this thing, that preparedness and punctuality are 2 important qualities of a leader. Punctuality is actually a virtue. We all know that, because today also for this meeting, we all logged in well in advance. So punctuality is a virtue which you all should practice. If we haven't started, we should start. And if there is any personal obligation which you need to, or professional obligation, you can always inform the editor that there is some reason why you're late. So it's always nice that they are informed that yes, okay, after 15 days you will be submitting your report. Now, one final, your role as a reviewer is commonly depicted by the word manuscript, where the M stands for you play a major role, Your aims should be correctly defined. There are certain no's and nevers which you should avoid. As I just now told you, don't be rude in your comments. Okay. Unscramble. You are basically unscrambling because you're adding to a rich literature, research literature. So unscramble the manuscript to a more readable content. Okay. S, they need you as a subject expert. They need your comments. R stands for you either reject or accept. That's your choice. But be very careful when you're rejecting it. Improvise is what they need you for. Why the editor has appointed you as a reviewer is because he needs you to improvise a manuscript. Punctuality is a virtue. And finally, think before you are submitting your review report. Treat the author's work the way you would like to be treated is how I end my talk. The golden rule, as you all know, we've been taught in school, do unto others as you would have do unto you. So really, we should actually behave the way I would want others to behave with me. So please treat the author's work the way you would like yourself to be treated when you submit a article. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for the wonderful talk, ma'am. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Any questions to ma'am? If anyone wants to ask any questions? Any queries?
Yes, can I?
Yes.
Hello, ma'am. A very wonderful presentation. This is Dr. Shilpa, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah, ma'am, just one thing. Do we always refuse the articles? Do we review the articles if the institutions or the authors are known to us?
Yes,
Yes. Yes.
Thank-
That actually comes as a conflict, competing interest. But seniors would like, if seniors could
I would like to add over here. In the National Journal of Clinical Anatomy, it is double-blind review journal, right? So when we send to the reviewer, right, we don't means there will be no information of the author or the institution, right? And as Madam has said, before sending to the reviewer, we do the similarity index check, right? That plagiarism. If it is more than 50%, we don't send to the reviewer itself, right? We send to the author back to check the similarity index. So before sending to the reviewer, there will be no information related to the institution, right? Or related to the authors, right? And apart from that, as Madam said, at plagiarism, we check before sending to the reviewers, right? And other types of plagiarism, as Madam has mentioned, that will be reported to the editors, right? But the similarity index, we check before sending to the reviewer. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, thank you for the wonderful academics.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
Good evening. Am I audible now? I am audible. I am the mic.
Yes, yes, you are audible, sir.
Sir, I am Dr. Rajshekhar.
Rajshekhar, sir, yes.
Pondicherry, Jipmer.
Sir,
This is a good guideline, madam, which you have given. See, whatever we may do it out of our experience with a specific scale and others one. And in elementary school, we have seen the calculation of 1 into 2 is 1, 2 into 2. That is a this one we know. Like that, without this also we can do. But with this guideline, we will all be able to make this journal of SOCA very good one and a perfect one of this quality, madam. I'm sure. And again, I thank the president and editor-in-chief and then the secretary Muthukumar for this wonderful arrangement of the. A word of appreciation. This Surekha sir made the Rasalis the life history and production of his product. It has made more inspiring the anatomist. I have lived 3 years in the Vasali Square of Jipman, the old block. There, corner room, I was there. Every day I was crossing that Vasali. touch that that inspiration was given to me now again revived by Dr. Surekha. Thank you, Dr. Surekha, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rajsekhar, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any more question or would like to share any views are most welcome.
Sir, Dr. Satish Ravi, sir, thank you so much for organizing this talk. Ma'am, Dr. Vandana, ma'am, thank you for the lovely talk. Ma'am, मेरे को एक चीज पूछनी थी. This was a curious question from my side. Ma'am, actually, जैसा कि सतीश रवि सर ने कहा कि NJCA is a organizes a double blind review, right? So we have usually in the system there is two parts. First part will be title page, in which author details will be given, and in the second part there is actual manuscript in which the author details are not there. Ma'am, what I want to ask is, in the second part in which there is no author details are there, and if suppose I have to self-cite my own previous research work, then what should I do? I mean, I'll have to give the reference that this is the work which I have previously done.
Yes, you can do it. You can do it, but don't overdo it. You don't overdo it. Supposing I have done a work on gluteus maximus, and I have a previous article on medius and minimus. So once I can quote it. But if I go on repeating paragraph on paragraph on that, it is going to be called as self-plagiarism. Okay. So imagine your reference list out of 10 contains 4 from your Dr. Divakar. That will be called as self-plagiarism. Okay. So once I can quote twice, a lot of microphones on.
Self-citation is always not encouraged. That you should keep in your mindset, right? Otherwise, the reviewers will think that the work you have done is the extended work of the previous work, right?
Yes.
That will add in the rejection of your manuscript. Got it?
But sir, now the draft is not blinded because I have already quoted my research work in the...
No, I'm telling you what I mean to say, that suppose you have mentioned that name of your institution, that this work was done in All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Rishikesh. So we will cover all those things from the manuscript, right?
Okay.
Main manuscript, there will be nothing about your name, your institution, or everything will be covered, right? It will not be sent to reviewer.
Okay.
So,
can I just put in a little word here, with your permission?
Yes, please.
So sometimes we do double blinding is followed, but still among colleagues of other institutions, we know which works, who is doing what. So morally, should we still refuse and return that we know?
Yeah, see, there will be. Vandana ma'am, please.
See, most of the journals, can I answer that?
Yes, ma'am.
Most of the journals will ask the corresponding author for name of 2 to 3 reviewers. Will you follow me? So when I will give the names of those 2-3 reviewers, usually they are extra institutional. They should be outside the institution. So I know this for sure, that always preference is given to outside the institution. So supposing I want to give somebody's name as a reviewer, which the journal has asked me, I will give Dr. Sivakumara, Dr. Divakar, Dr. Ravi, but I will not prefer to give the names within the same institution. Does that answer your question?
Ma'am, not within the institutions. Sometimes we are even aware of the works going on. Like supposedly someone is, changing places of work. We might have worked somewhere else, then we change an institution. So we actually know what kind of, seeing an article, sometimes we can know, okay, this particular person has worked on it. So should we?
No, that's fine. That's fine.
But in NJCA, actually, whenever we send for the reviewers, first only there is one column. They should declare the conflict of interest. So if they know it is their ethics, that they should declare it. I know the author and they should better return it.
Okay. Thank you.
And let me clear your doubt. Whatever they suggest to the reviewers, usually we prefer that we should not send to those reviewers. That also we take care. Right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Any other queries?
Yes, please. This
Yes.
is Dr. Soumya Khanna from Anatomy Department, Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi. Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir. Wonderful presentation, ma'am. Ma'am, I just want to know, like after submission an article, it has been asked for major revision. So I've done the major revision. Then they are asking for minor revision. That has also been done. But after minor revision, again they sent it they asked me to change from a cadaveric gross study to a histological study. Can it be like possible? Because initially what I observed that the reviewers were much convinced with the gross study and then they switched over to the histological study.
But you have not done histological study primarily. It's not a part of your study design.
It was a part, but a minor part. But later on, the reviewers focused on histological study as compared to the gross study.
So have they asked you to increase the study? I mean, you cannot obviously now do it more. So have they asked you about?
They asked to put up more slides for the histological study, which obviously couldn't be available.
Then please politely answer them that this is my study design. These are what I have done. Okay, and there is no scope for increasing the number of slides. Be very polite. See, if they have asked you for a major and then minor, they are 80% going to accept it. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
But please do. You can very point by point answer them and tell them that it is beyond the scope of my study. And you continue to the next question. I have also done it previously, and they have accepted. There has been no problem in that.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Dr. Madam, just I would like to add, you will have to satisfy the reviewer, you know. Yes,
sir.
Just do
the reviewers
I understand your issue. I'm just telling you. See, as an editor in chief, what happens that we will take the call of the reviewers, right? Until unless, see, suppose we have sent to 2 reviewers, right? If both of the reviewers will comments will be same, right? So we will go with the reviewers. Suppose if there is a contradictory statement between the 2 reviewers, then the role of the editor in chief will come, right? Otherwise, whatever the comments we will receive from the reviewers, we have to respect the comments of the reviewer. Otherwise, there is no meaning of sending the manuscript to the reviewers.
So is it possible that the reviewers, after every revision, change or they remain same?
No, they remain same.
No,
they remain same.
Okay.
They remain same.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Please welcome, ma'am.
Ma'am, can I ask one more question?
Yes.
Ma'am, this is not much to do with the reviewing process, just a query of my personal experience. Sometimes if we get a request for reviewing, especially from foreign, there's just a random mail which we don't able to well identify. And are we expected to get a certificate once they are done with the reviewing process? There's no communication. Even if you ask them, is it some sort of something which you should avoid?
Dr. Shilpa, your voice is breaking a lot. Could you repeat it again, please? Your voice is breaking.
Am I clear now, ma'am?
No.
Still no?
Could you hear the question, Dr. Ravi?
I think the chat box.
I think your voice is. Can you type in the chat box? Is it possible for you to type? I couldn't understand even a single word, Dr. Shilpa.
Yeah. Voice is breaking now.
Maybe because of network connectivity.
Yes, ma'am. You can type your question, ma'am, in the chat box.
I'm doing so. Yes, I'm doing so.
Meanwhile, any other delegates have question, they can please put their question. We will be more than happy to take your questions.
Sir, meanwhile, can I go for a question? Dr. Swati here.
What certificates, Dr. Shilpa? No, there are no certificates I know of. Dr. Ravi, you can answer that.
Yes, madam, on the portal itself, suppose if you review article, right, the portal, on the portal itself, you will get the certificate, right? Personally, individually, we don't send any certificate for reviewing any manuscript, but the number of articles you review, it is already there on your portal, right? When you log in on the portal as a reviewer, you will be able to see how many articles you have reviewed, right? So all the details will be there. So you can get the certificate from the portal itself, right?
Means you want to submit it for your Shilpa, do you want to submit it like to your for your confidential reporting or something like that for your ACR or something? CV.
Actually, ma'am, what happens is sometimes foreign mail, and they ask us to review. We send them a thing, and there is no response after that. Even if try to contact, there is no response. That what happened, or maybe I did it twice. So after that, I stopped doing it, thinking that maybe I'm doing something wrong.
No, then actually the method which Dr. Ravi has told you, I think that is the best method. You can get a clue. Yeah.
Did I answer your question, or your question is different? Are you telling that after reviewing 1 or 2 articles, they don't send articles to review? Is that your question?
No, sir. Partly you have answered the question. Another part is if we do not get any communication back after giving our viewers report. So is it that some predatory thing has happened? Are we not supposed to? Because they don't communicate after taking the review.
No, like in our journal, I'm telling you, whatever communication will be there. Suppose you have submitted the reviewer's report, right? When we will communicate with the author, that time also you will get one mail what we have communicated to the author, right? So you will get that. And when we have accepted their article, that also you will get one email, right? The article which you have reviewed have been accepted or rejected, right? So all the communication will be communicated to the both the reviewers as well, apart from the author.
So if this communication is not happening, then I think we are doing something. We are in a wrong portal.
That depends on the journal. The different journal, they might follow the different protocols, right? But what we follow, that I have explained to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So we can proceed further, I guess. A lot of questions. It was excellent interaction as well. Ma'am has taken so many questions. Any other questions? If not, then we can proceed further.
Yes, sir. Dr. Swati here, sir.
Yes, ma'am, please.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. Like I just wanted to share that this was a very informative session, ma'am. Vandana, ma'am. What small doubt I have here is, sir, when we are dealing with the results, most of the authors provide us with the statistical analysis, sir. And when you see the study design, most of the study designs are either observational or descriptive type. And when you come to the results and see the statistics, they tell you regarding the p-value, the significance of p-value. How to come about, or how to comment on such points is a bit clinging point there, ma'am. Can we have something, single note on that? Like, hope I'm clear with my question.
Yes, you are clear. Let Vandana ma'am say other. Or is it clear to you, ma'am? Vandana ma'am?
Actually, there is some network issue here. I'm not able to hear.
Okay.
Maybe it is because of this thing only.
So, Dr. Swati ma'am, I would like to answer your queries. Suppose if there is a statistical issue, right, and the reviewer is not in command on the statistics, right, they are not able to do it. In that condition, you just put a note that there is a need of statistician, so we will get the opinion from the biostatistician, right? So there is no need. Suppose you are not expert of that, it is better to put a note, right, and in the forum it is also there. So better in the note to the editor, you can put it that like that. Right. So in
Okay,
those
sir.
conditions, we take the help of the biostatisticians because they are the expert of that.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Right.
Fine, fine. Sir, and one more query here is yes, this is clear from the point of view, but when it is coming to the author, sir,
Right.
their description in the study design is different. So where I
Mhm.
don't think the statistical analysis or the statistical significance is required. But still, if the author is keen in providing us with that statistical analysis, is that we can comment on that it is
Definitely,
not
definitely,
required
ma'am.
for his firm? Yes,
No,
sir.
definitely
Okay,
you should
okay.
give comment, ma'am. Definitely.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Welcome, ma'am. So shall we proceed further?
Okay,
Dr.
if no other queries, now I would request Dr. Mehendi Mahajan, Professor of Anatomy, Sri Muthukumaran Medical College, Hospital and Research Institute, Chennai, to give concluding remarks and propose vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Pushpa. I hope I'm audible to all of
Yes,
you.
Yes,
ma'am.
yes, madam.
Yeah.
Recently, Dr. Mehta Mahajan madam has been promoted to professor and head. So big congratulations from our side, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much for graciously accepting your congrats. Proceeding further, our Honourable and respected President, Dr. Shiv Kumar Avargal, our respected General Secretary, Dr. Muthura Avargal, our dynamic Editor-in-Chief, Dr. K.S. Raviji, and all the esteemed friends of our fraternity. So once again, within a very short duration of time, we all meet on this absolutely grand, eventful day. And as we close down the curtain, I, Dr. Mahajan, the Associate Editor, am highly privileged on behalf of the NJCA team to express my gratitude to all those who made this day a grand success. It was due to the constant perseverance of our respected president that the ball was set rolling. And with the same tenacity, it gained momentum because of our respected General Secretary, while the final shifting gears took to the bullets was none other than by our editor-in-chief. Thank you all, the dignitaries, for planning this wonderful World Anatomy Day as an educative and a resourceful event. I am greatly humbled to have the gracious presence of our chief guest, Dr. Srimati Surekha Kishore, the Honourable Member of National Medical Commission. And it is through Her Majesty's company that we have the release of the third volume of NJCA Journal. I express my wholehearted gratitude to respected madam, and I'm humbly bound down for all the service rendered to mankind by her. Our very own respected joint editor, Dr. Srimati Vandana Mehta ji, who cordially and benevolently accepts our invitation as a guest speaker. Madam, it was indeed a great learning. It was effective and beneficial in this phase of time. Our appreciation for your time are boundless. Thank you, madam, once again. Without our enthusiastic and devoted NJCA core team leaders, Dr. Mona Priya, Dr. Afifa, and Dr. Pushpa, the logistic support and the smooth functioning of the event was possible, even when they had to work beyond the comfort zone. The constant guidance and blessings from the various editorial team members that helped the core members to harness their skills towards this event for such a successful outcome from both the core team as well as the editorial board members. I'm highly obliged and thankful to one and all. And lastly, my dear colleagues, your constant support and invaluable suggestion pushes the NJCA team to raise their benchmark. All of you and all of you, when I say, are the pillar of our strength. And when the pillar and the foundation is strong, the raised building always stands tall. A big hearty greeting to one and all. Please do keep encouraging and cooperating through any means possible, be it subscribing or attending the CME and the conference. And we, as the whole medical fraternity family, will take the journals to great heights. Hello, Dr. Pushpa.
Hello.
Ma'am, you can
There's
continue.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for proposing the vote of thanks. Anybody wants to express anything, or shall we conclude the meeting? Sir, you are not audible.
So at the end, I think we have come to the end of the session. And at the end, I would like to thank our chief guest, respected Professor Surekha Kishore ma'am, our president, Professor Kumar sir, our general secretary, Sri Muthu Kumar sir, our treasurer, Dr. Kavimani sir is here. Then I can see from the editorial board member, like Dr. Kalpana ma'am is there, who has recently joined Sri Ramchandra Medical College, Dr. Virendra Kumar Neem sir, and all the our guest speaker, Dr. Vandana Mehta ma'am, and all the senior faculty members who have joined this program. I'm grateful to each one of you for being part of this celebration of World Anatomy Day. Thank you so much, each and everyone, for being part of this. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Very nice program. Thank you so much.
Thank
For
you,
each and every one of you. Dr. Pushpa, everybody.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, my special thanks to Dr. Pushpa and Dr. Mahajan, Dr. Apurva, Dr. Rose, and all who organized this program, made it very successful. Thank you, Dr. Pushpa.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks, Dr. Pushpa, for comparing this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Ravi,
So we'll
Dr.
be ending the
Kumar,
meeting.
and Dr. Shiva Kumar. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much, madam.
Your presentation was very nice and simple.
Yes, ma'am. It was very nice, actually.
Informative.
Thank you.
Thankful to you.
I hope this webinar will add something to the existing knowledge. Thank you so much.
We can have more and more in future.
Definitely, sir.
Sure, sir.
Definitely, sir.
We'll
Thank
plan
you.
for more. Surely we'll plan for more, sir. No doubt.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. I just like to add few points.
Yes.
May
Yes,
I?
please. Yes, Dr. Ajat sir is there. I can see. Please, sir.
Just what to say? We are just overwhelmed by this occasion, the way it has been celebrated, the first of its kind in our country, and this endeavor taken over by this very active team. I really feel great to be, and today before this, I tried to celebrate in a very small manner in my department, and for everyone was telling me, sir, it is a really new thing for us. And then I just rushed to have my lunch to be here on time. Madam has already told that to be punctual, one word she has put. So really, I just went and came back within 15 minutes. Took my lunch somehow to be with all of you, and this kind of belonging, this has given a sense of belonging, and whatever is we are supposed to do to to open up the anatomy in a larger manner for the juniors who are coming or the meritorious students, to suck in them, to get them into this stream. So that will be our real purpose, because Dr. Ravi, I think he has said that we have got miles to go. Yeah, the wood is green, but we can't stop here. I have to go far away, isn't it? So yes, this universe should move on. The feelings of anatomists, that we are anatomists, that we are dealing with the mother of science, which has been marginalized over the decades in our country. So it depends upon us what we should leave for our juniors. Thank you all. May God bless you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Your words of encouragement is it means a lot to us, sir. Really, I highly appreciate your words of encouragement, sir. It has added so many things. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Rajat.
Thank you so much, Rajesh sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, all of you.
And thank you, Dr. Shailja Shetty, ma'am. Thanks a lot. And at the end, I would like to end with one statement. I don't understand how anyone can be an anatomist and not to be proud of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much,
Ending
sir.
the meeting. Okay.